Surprise! We're live! Okay, so as per usual, let me set up my computer. Actually, I'm going to plug in the tripod first, then set up the computer. All right. There's one person watching. I'm going to be on earlier today, obviously, and probably stop a little earlier. Just 'cause. Hello, Hugo. All right. Okay, so, hello Hugo, hello Enigma, hello Sparrow's Cave, Stanley S., Larry Hughes, Robert White, South Omaha Horror, Josh Newman, Susan Attai, Lindy Beto, Susan Attai, she's saying hello now. Enigma was second, yes sir, sorry man, Hugo beat you to it. They're fast in Brazil, it's how they make them. Hello Stacy, hello Micro Halloween, hello Big Dog, hello Robert Newdecker. Sweet, I would love to see your pumpkin mask, Robert. Big Dog Mask, Sparrow's Cave, Hugo, Patrick Redding. All right, that's everybody who gets a shout out from the top. So I used to. In the old days, what it used to be that I could expand this, because up here in the corner there was a spyglass. What do they call those things? Clue. It's a lens on a stick. There was one of those up in the corner, and I could hit plus and make the text bigger. But now for some reason I cannot make the text bigger. And I don't know why that is. So, and beginner, exactly, that is it. And it was right here where this little hangman gibbet that's hanging a AA battery is. I don't know if that's what that symbol is either. But magnifying glass, that's what it's called. Thank you. That's why I keep you guys around. No. And I don't want top chat, I want live chat. Control plus plus. All right, if this works. Oh, it works! You've just saved my life. And now the ambiguiter showed back up. I don't know if you can see, but it's back up there in the corner. Control plus plus, who was that? That was awesome. I appreciate that. You've just made my life better. You've improved my quality of life. Hello, Lost Zodiac. Hooray! Yeah, magnifying glass. And then beginner. Susan Attai. All right, so I know, by the way, that Lost Zodiac is kind of one of our youngsters. Do you know what a magnifying glass is? Have you ever actually held one, a magnifying glass, or just know from pictures? Like payphones. Have you ever seen a payphone in the wild, Lost Zodiac? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so there's work to do, obviously. And of course, we're going to start today by taking apart a blanket of questionable origin. Why? Because we're going to use this blanket's fur for Cujo. Robert, that's awesome. Thank you, sir. I would love to see that. And I don't know, Robert, do you know about Stilt Beast Live Creepers Group? So this is the blanket that I'm going to use because this short pile length on it, ignore the stripes, that's just color, which we're going to airbrush over. This short pile length is going to be really good for his face, but it has a lining that I need to get off. Yeah. Yes, 5 points to, okay, I don't know if he's Gryffindor. You know, you could be given 5 points to Slytherin. I don't know about that. Yeah, I did start on Cujo yesterday, and I've been sent that Cujo picture on Messenger about 6 times now with that actor. So that's kind of funny. And a very different paint from a lot of the dog images. I really like the black streaks down the side of the muzzle. So I might have to talk to Larry to see if I can do that. I think it'll look good. Well, I have lost my mojo as far as carrying along this seam. See if I can get it back. Yeah, no, I celebrated too soon. Who was that female snowboarder who celebrated before she won and ate it and lost? Maybe she didn't lose. I think she got like bronze. And bronze is like losing in the Olympics. Yeah. Yeah, right now Gryffindor gets the 5. That's just how it is. Okay, so, and then I can peel off the trim. If I take the trim off here, that is taking a good bit of the lining with it. How to Break Things by Alan Hobbs. It's what I do. You're not first, you're last. That's a very final way of looking at it. I don't know if I like that. Very fine. I think if you're coming in second, you should still try very hard, just in case later the guy who came in front of you tests positive for steroids. Then you're the winner. Look at all those guys who thought they came in second place at the Tour de France. And then years later, it's like, hey, we're taking those back. Second place guys like, we, yeah. I think that's how they celebrate in France. Hello, warmonger. I should just rip up a blanket a day just for fun. This is de-stressful. Any stress that I have is just going right away. Workout program. Yeah, I think this pile length is good. And it has a direction. Yeah, it's got a direction, so that's good. That means it'll work. Hello, Mike Murphy. All right, so I'm going to move the camera so I can look at the camera and read the screen at the same time. That may mean that I have to change up how my stuff goes. And I was just upstairs looking for said blanket, which I knew I had. But upstairs is 2,000 degrees for reals. All right. So I sculpted some Minotaur teeth. So he's going to have some tusk-like teeth on the bottom, which I think will be very nice, and then some pointy teeth up on top. I'm going to let these dry up a little bit, and I'll do some more refining on them. And then I'm going to try and mold those suckers tonight, so I can pour them up and then have them done for tomorrow. Okay. Good afternoon, Rachel Powell, Ken Beady-Eyed Brat Kennedy, Yes. Okay. That was my dance hour. Hello, Third Degree of Terror. Warren, I started watching a movie so bad today, I thought about messaging you and saying, hey, you should check this out. I didn't finish it yet. It's called Rotten Tail. It is just me tonight, Dan. It's called Rotten Tail, and it was on Amazon Prime Video, so it was free. And it's about a guy who's bitten by a radioactive rabbit, and that turns him into a jerk were-rabbit. Practical effects, terrible. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you saw Rotten Tail yesterday? How could you say it was a good movie? I'm amazed it has 4 stars because it's, and like the main guy in it, I've seen him in other stuff, which is rare for the movies that I watch. But yeah, Rotten Tail. I'll finish watching it later. It's pretty terrible. Yeah. It was free, so I highly recommend it. What I have to do now is get Cujo set up, visual reference wise. Fooled you, I already had it set up. The joke is on you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I feel good about that short pile length all through here, and then I'll do a rough of the long stuff around. Let's turn off those notifications. It should. I thought it was on vibrate. It was on vibrate. Yes, I have videos on how to make teeth out of resin by making a simple silicone mold from silicone caulking. I did that when I was working on, it was Mersapien, I did his teeth for it. And then I used those same teeth for Hammer Time. I just changed them a little bit. Headless Horseman is a good movie, yes. Bigfoot silhouette, that sounds fun. I like silhouettes. I used to do silhouettes a lot. We had, when I did the Trail of Terror at Screams, it took place mostly in an alley behind a row of shops, and we would do foam cutouts of different monsters that fit the theme, and just paint them all black, but just take two, where the eyes were, just cut out the eyes, and then any light that was behind it would show through those 2 little holes, and you had this great silhouetted creature up on the roof line of all the back of the shops, and it worked out really good. So Stone Farmer, yes, I do have videos that show that process. These are not made of resin. These are sculpted in clay. I'm going to mold them in plaster, and then we will, once they're molded in plaster, I'll make latex, because I sculpted them flat to wrap around the gum line here of the Minotaur. My goals for today is start putting fur onto Cujo, and I also want to start, I want to get these horns dremeled and liquid nails on them, so that way these can be setting up, and tomorrow I can start finishing up. They look a little resiny because I painted them with Future floor wax, so that they would toughen up a little bit. It's like making regular costumes, but with bigger pants. Micro Halloween. And I also find it hilarious that your name is literally Micro Halloween, and you want to make a still costume. Yeah, this whole time I thought you were like a little person, because Micro Halloween. I don't know. I thought that would be, if I was a little person, that's what I would name my YouTube channel. Is that PVC pipe by the sewing station? No, Stacy. What you don't know is that that is all of the shop lights in the garbage, because we have new shop lights that are bright enough to make it look like an alien abduction. Yeah. All of the shop lights have been replaced with super bright LED shop lights that are actually very, very bright. So, yeah, it's very bright. And I'm actually going to take these two fans out, put two more lights in, and then add some fans to circulate. So, aha! It's Micro Halloween because your trail is small. That's cool. Much better lighting. Yeah, I can see stuff. Yeah, LED is the way to go for sure. Nice white light. It's neither warm light nor is it cool. It is just good light. Okay. I was saying, let's work on Cujo a bit until we get bored, and then let's do something else. So I want to pattern this. I want to make a pattern off of this head. I did a little more work to it. I don't know if you guys can tell. I also trimmed the ears. They were a hair, not long, but they weren't as triangular as I wanted. So I cut an angle in this instead of it going down a little more first. So. I do like this paint job. Yeah, a lot of the whites of his eyes are showing. Yeah, this is, you know what, I think I need to bring this lip a little further over. I'm going to do that with hair, because you don't see Cujo's top fangs very much at all, and he normally has a good bit of nose in between his nose and his top lip. He has a good bit of muzzle right there. So this is where I got yesterday on him. And he looks dog-like, except like I don't like this. I need this to come down a little more, and it's going to cover most of his upper canines. You rarely see those, and you need that Saint Bernard swoop. I added this yesterday. It needs a little more even still, in my opinion. If Larry isn't here, does not tell me not to do it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. Yes, he'll be getting rabbit slime treatment, which is the only reason why I can use a weirdo striped blanket as his fur. But the fur that I have, I think the pile length is just too long for the stuff on the face. And I really want to put this on the face. Well, the original sculpt was a bear, Robert, so it was neither a boar nor a dog, but we're moving it towards dogdom. Truthfully, I probably could have just, painted it Inherited Cujo, and Larry would have been happy. But if I'm going to call him Cujo, put my name on it, and put a picture of it on the internet, then I probably need to fix it. And the stripe is a little weird. The stripes on here. Need to do some tests. You know what that means? Actually, I don't either, but hey, y'all told me about the whole how to zoom in thing. Control++, awesome. This is all the shrapnel from me changing out the lights. Because cleaning up is for chumps. Who does that? Nobody. Grabbing some combs. All right. There were two folks who did most of the sculpting at Dark Hour. There was me and Ian Alderink. For a long time, I did almost all of it, and then Ian, for a long time, did almost all of it, as I was consumed by office duty crap. Okay, so this hair cannot be trained in any direction. I've got to make sure that I note the direction that the hair is going as I am using this. It looks like that's going to go straight down, so that's good. Thank you, Susan. I'm glad you see a big dog. Hey, Larry. Good to see you on, sir. So this blade's dull. Okay. All of the big cat. Hold on. Were the big cats mine? I think Ian sculpted one and I sculpted two. So I have two cat molds here. But I sculpted them at the house. Micro Halloween, we used those as cages in a haunted house we did called Carl's Playhouse. We used those cages for kids. Good times. No more details required. Or asked for that matter. All right, so happy. I'm going to pattern one side. The sculpt is pretty close to symmetrical. I'm going to grab some fabric just for those. Hello, Spook Shack SPFX. Have a little bit of canvas, and I have a Sharpie. We did use, it was a an air tool. Yes, so it was an air tool, like an air wrench. It is a Sunday surprise. Sometimes I take Sundays off, and sometimes I don't. This is one of those Sundays that I don't. Hi, Al Matra. And I am doing this by feel and by, well, most of my feel. I want this to come kind of around the nose. I think we will stop this. If I do that, then I know I've got enough and I can trim as necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Hey, Field Walker Masks. Hello, Scotland. Now, if this were the fur, okay, if this were the fur, the whole club is looking at her. Here's the dog. Doo, 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 doo. Yeah, that goes back to that line. This is free to tuck up on the, yeah. And then that's going to go back up. Okay, I like that. This is going to work. And then I'm free to cut out and around for this eye, no problem. I'm going to mark that. So, as is common, the square footage of my shop is bigger than my whole house used to be. I think my old house was 1,700 something square feet, and the shop is more than that. I'm almost 2,000 square foot shop. And I don't have a clean flat surface in here in order to cut this out. I gotta clean all the table. So, there you go. What'd you guys log on for? To watch me clean. Enigma, the issue with a fan in your pocket is it has nowhere to draw air from. That air has to come from somewhere. And a fan's efficiency is greatly reduced with any restriction on the outside. And in all honesty, if that air is piped from any type of location across or by your body, your body's going to heat up that air pretty quick because it just does. We're very efficient at heating up air. Now, what they have been doing is they have fans that you can clip onto like your belt and your shirt goes over it and then it like inflates the back of your shirt, and that's very cooling. So those work. But you have to be able to get air into that fan. And keeping actors cool is a noble pursuit. It's difficult. It's a challenge. Cleaning off one table, what that really means is I take all the crap off this table and divide it evenly amongst the other tables. I'm helping. But then I'll have this table free and I can do my hair work over here on this. And I'm not going to be on super long tonight. I had an interview today. That went well. It was a panel discussion, but it was like a one-at-a-time panel, so it was interesting. But it was kind of for a private event, so there's no footage of it, I'm afraid. Yes, 1980. The cooling vests, they make me sad. And I can put just ice in a Camelback and put it on, and in 15 minutes I have warm water. That's just how it is. When I made silicone masks for, I used them on the trail a couple of seasons, and I would make two, and I would keep one in a cooler full of ice water, and then whenever I got a chance, I would go and I'd swap out the two silicone masks, because the silicone will grab onto that cool. It acts like a gel pack itself, so it's freezing cold when you put it on, but you appreciate it because you're hot from the last one. You just got to be a little careful about shocking your system too much that way. Can you see I want to stop and explain things and talk about stuff rather than clean off this table? You have found out my secret. I hate it forever. Someone asked about professional haunting. I say it is 80% sweeping and cleaning up. I'm only partially exaggerating. Yeah, the fans and paintball masks, they're good, but those masks are so open. You know, there's a lot of places for the fan to draw air from. Yes, yeah, if you pour ice water on yourself, you can pass yourself out. Hello, Shazzy. So, Shazzy, just so you know, it's not all me cleaning off tables because of me shirking my cleaning responsibilities many days in a row. I'm about to put fur on a Cujo mask, and that should be fun and interesting, just so you know. Me cleaning off this table is not really that fun and interesting. Oh, Jordan, hey, good to see you. Yes, he is, Jordan's a pro mascot, so, any tips you want to share? It is a noble pursuit trying to keep cool in costume. There's all kinds of gimmicks. They have those little mini air conditioners you're supposed to wear in your neck. Those things are garbage, I have found. But when I'm hustling, I can generate some body heat. Well, Shazzy, I'm glad. I am very glad to entertain you in some small way. I don't want an explanation as to why you're in the hospital. I prefer to make up those stories for myself. So I have decided that you are in the hospital in order to have your knees reversed. You're surgically having your knees reversed so that you can walk like a chicken. That's what I'm gonna just believe is happening, and I wish you the best in your future chickendom. Yeah, and Stacy is also at home recovering from surgery. Okay, we have a clean table and that's exciting. We normally have a few. That are from Australia, but you are not alone. Lanny mask for me, or are you talking to someone else? So for me, I mean, life goes on. I'm still in the shop making things. The big difference being that right now, I'm making a lot more small things as opposed to fewer big things, if that makes any sense. So the stripes go this way on this, and the fur direction goes this way. And my brain wants to autocorrect and change it to the middle between the two, but no, you have to look past these stripes and at the actual hair direction. Okay. Yes, I know that the things that are considered elective procedures are pretty mind-baffling. I don't want to get into a bunch of medical talk because people are prone to doing that. So this is his nose, and that's his center line. So it's going to go that way. The direction that the hair goes is pretty important with fur, anything that has fur. I'm just grabbing some blades. Okay. Shazzy, I'm glad you were able to have surgery. Does anybody watch Nightbreed? Anybody? Did you get a chance? I saw that Warren at least intended to watch Nightbreed. He just wasn't allowed to tell Facebook about it. Okay. Cliff bars are very important. Yeah, when I train haunted house actors, I tell them that in battlefield conditions, soldiers are supposed to have 10,000 calories a day, and haunted house conditions are not much different. I recommend lots of food, but also, the right kind of food. Cliff bars are great. And even I am guilty of hitting a Monster Energy when I should have a water, but you definitely need to get water in you. Starting with a body that's not going to break down. Pedialyte, yeah, that's good. Have you tried those icy pops that are electrolyte ice pops? They're excellent. We had an EMT bring them in, and we bought a bunch more since then. This is a carpet cutting tool. It's a carpet cutting knife. This is a Roberts carpet knife. And you can change out the blade in it easy. I just changed it out. And I like this for cutting fur and for cutting EVA foam. It's one of my go-to cutters now. Jordan, if you shoot me a Facebook message, I can send you a link. They're pretty amazing. Yeah, the pizza cutter's good, but I don't like it for fur because it's very easy to go through and cut all the hair on the back side. And I like more of a razor blade style because it'll cut the backing and leave the hair intact, and then that hair covers up your seams. Whereas if you cut with scissors or with like the pizza cutter, it doesn't help with fur. It's not as good in my experience. Or I don't have a light enough hand to make it work well. Yeah, cutting the piece out and retaining the length of hair on the other side is key to fur work and hair work. I saw that a couple people posted that Michael's had Halloween stuff 30% off. I didn't get there today. I had an interview and then I had to run to Office Max for stuff to make eyeballs, obviously. Hello, Will Carrot. Monster Energy Rehab. I'm interested. I too need Monster Energy Rehab. But the other kind. And I'm just going to use spray adhesive for a test fit right now and see how this goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ken Zarish. Hello, Ken Zarish. Spent your allowance on He-Man figures. I have Skeletor and Beastman from the new Origins line. I didn't get any of the others. Oh, and I have Evil Lyn. So I got those three. That's what I got. I'll use this one. I've already started. Okay. Yeah, and each store is getting a case of He-Man, a case of Skeletor, and then a box with one each of Teela, Beastman, Man-at-Arms, Evil Lyn. By putting spray adhesive on just one side, I am making it so that it is a temporary bond. Yeah, I'm not really a collector, so I wanted them just to play with. Because I'm an adult. Yeah, see, and I think the short hair is going to be really good. Lengthening that is good. See how I'm getting real tight down? I'm getting all the wrinkles and stuff in there that I needed and wanted. I can bring this. And I do want some extra on the side here because with St. Bernard they just have some extra skin. So these extra little folds are perfect. Okay, so that pattern is going to do me really well. I like that. I'm going to do another one of those. I'll cut it out flip side, and then I'll go ahead and attach it. Robert, when I could not find the Origins Beastman, did you see the Beastman that I made out of a King Kong figure to fit in with them? Well, I of course want to show it off because I'm happy with it. Let me show you. This is the small $10 King Kong that is in Walmart right now that I of course gave him boots and changed all that and added all the armor, gave him the cuffs, changed the head quite a bit, added the ridge, added the chops, pointed his ears. So I'm happy with my little Beastman. I wanted Beastman to be more savage, you know. He's Beastman. He's not, you know, same size as everybody else, man. Yes, Cujo. That is what we're making here. Interesting, Michael. That's an interesting technique. And this, let's figure this out while we're here. That's right, Beastman, not Lame Man. Cool. Thanks, Susan. He prefers to be called the artist formerly known as King Kong. I don't want it to be all gone, but probably here. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to work for me, I think, pretty darn well. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the way the fur runs. I'm happy with how tight it's getting to the body. And all of the hair color changes is going to be, it's going to be airbrushed. So I'm really not worried about the color of the fur right now. Yeah, so it's going to be bloody and snotty and drooly. It's going to be wonderful. Yeah, it'll be bloody, snotty, and drooly, yes. And I'm getting more, I force you to believe there's more muzzle there by bringing this down a little bit. Bears don't have a lot between their nose, and it actually kind of splits up to there, but dogs don't have that. So I had to kind of add that with the fabric. And of course I will cut out for the eye here in a bit. Yeah, yeah. And then I've got to do some extra foldy skin under here because these got two little runners of, dogs have two wattles or whatever, some do. Good times. This is from the third Beethoven movie, where I think it's like first it's Beethoven and then it's Beethoven's second, and then it's Beethoven's third, The Revenge, where he gets rabies. Yeah, that's the one. Enigma, 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch is the answer. All right, so I'm ready to cut the next one, and I'll flip the fur over. We'll cut the next one, and then we'll come over here and start fiddling with these eyes. The hair direction did not change, so it's still going this way. But I need it for the other side of the face, so I've got to copy it like this. Right, something is wrong with Old Yeller. Tell you what, if you haven't seen Old Yeller or heard about it, go watch it right now. It is a wonderful summertime feel-good movie that the whole family will enjoy. I think everybody will really like it. It's great for kids. It's just a good, fun family movie in general. It's feel-good hit of the summer. It's a little dated, but it's a loving story about a boy and his dog. Friend's little daughter didn't want to wear a surgery mask when they went shopping, so I painted on a nose and cat whiskers. Now she won't take it off. That is very good. That sounds like someone who likes children. So, Chad, I'm cutting fabric for Cujo so that Cujo can have some hair. I'm getting happy with Cujo and where he's going. And I consider Cujo challenging, in all honesty. I'm also starting with a bear, so that made things a little difficult. You put Old Yeller on it and break That's awesome. I went to it was a Chinese restaurant, and it was one of those Chinese buffet places, and they had Old Yeller playing in the in the restaurant. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Okay, here we go. I will also use this on the ears, so I will be doing that. Yes, it is an early live tonight, and I'm not going to be on that long. I just want to get a couple things done. And I thought I'd hang out with y'all while I did it. This is part of Cujo's face that I'm working on right now. And most people would dry fit before they cover their fur in spray adhesive and see if it works. But not me. And that'll take about 15 seconds to really get tacky. And I'm gonna, whereas 1980 is tacky immediately, I'm gonna come over here. Okay. I am your friend, not your smart friend. Exactly right. So I sometimes get the sticky arm hair. It sure does go everywhere, doesn't it? Here is why fur is one of my favorite things to work with. Done correctly, the seam just disappears. Like, very hard to tell where that seam line is between those two. Boy, 25-mile bike ride. Horror Beauty, I like you, but you sure do make me feel fat. Okay, now we're looking like we got a doggo. But you can still see those facial features through this small hair, short hair, I should say. All right. Hello, David Carter, once again. Yeah, I wish I knew how notifications worked or what made them do what they do, but I don't. I have some degree of hair on him, and I need to iron that out a little bit. But I'm going to move on to the Minotaur while that is setting up. So I don't want to mess with that hair too much until that is cured. Hello, John C. Your feet hurt from riding a bike. Maybe you're not riding it correctly. Just an option. Minotaur. I'd recommend a couple different kind of furs, but I'd probably start with a 3.5-inch shag fur. I get mine from Monterey Mills, and it's some black shag. I would not attach it with Gorilla Glue simply because Gorilla Glue does not flex. If we're still talking about fur, I would use contact cement. Micro Halloween, a really skinny walkthrough. You mean really skinny 3 feet, really skinny 12 feet? I don't know what you mean by really skinny. But I'd probably go with spiders because it's cheap and it's wonderful. When in doubt, spiders. Get yourself a good thermoplastic webbing gun. So far, I'm down about 75 pounds. I had a slow down there for a while I fell off the Keto wagon, family and holidays and stuff. So, there you go. Oh, John C., I get it now. That was rather humorous. Really good. That was hilarious. Anyway, so let's dribble these horns. Sparrow's Cave. The trick is drive to the top of a big hill and just do your 25 miles all downhill. Feet don't hurt. And no actual exercise was had. Yeah, any dental phobias out there? Rachel. So what Halloween thing has genuinely scared me? Boy. I was at a haunted house once that had one of those fake elevators, and it drops 8 inches and then slams to a stop. And that didn't scare me so much as jacked my back up. That really hurt. Let's see, a good scare. I think normally it's little stuff. It's the actor in your ear when you don't expect it. You know, turning around to see where the person behind you is, and there's an actor there. I don't get scared much in haunts, but I do enjoy. You know, I do enjoy going through. Okay, so let's go here, and I'm gonna dremel that and finish so that someone can tell Rachel Powell I've stopped making the dentist noise. Okay. I honestly think that is, I just had to get the pieces that are sticking up. One more bit. It's very easy for the liquid nails to fill a valley, but it's very hard for the liquid nails to go over a ridge and hide that ridge without accentuating it. So, there you go. Got to grab something out of the other liquid nails is what I have to grab. And I'm having a hard time following some of this, so werewolves are the best thing in a haunted. Wife, are you here to read comments?
I'm here to read comments.
You're my hero.
Where are you?
I just got lost.
Don't get lost.
There you go. Right there.
This is what for me.
This is for wife. We have a wife. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. The last thing that I could read was A Good Laser Swamp.
Hi.
I'm not saying I was caught up to that point. What I'm saying is that's the last thing that I read.
I brought dogs.
You did bring doggos.
So many dogs. Okay. Okay. So do you remember where you stopped?
Yeah, Laser Swamp.
Laser swamp stuff looks super cool.
Yes, that was the last thing that I was able to read.
Angry Man throwing chairs because the store was sold out of Halloween stuff is the best idea I got. Well, that's very kind of to say.
They are very kind because I threatened them. That you're not nice to my wife.
And you're telling them to watch Old Yeller. Why?
What? I didn't say that.
I did too.
What? No, who lies? Who told you that?
So awful.
Who told you that?
Why did you do that? It's a terrible movie.
Didn't it win an Oscar?
No.
No? Okay.
No. It's terrible.
Sure, that feel good hit of the summer.
You'll have to watch that again.
You've never heard of
You'll
it.
have to watch it. It's like Marley and Me. Did you guys see Marley and Me? I did. Never again. Oh. Oh, no. No, never again. Can't do it. Okay. The Mirror Maze at Dark Hour got me good, says Ezekiel.
Oh, cool.
Guys, hello. Hi, Lost Zodiac Productions and Moon Play 22. Y'all are my favorites.
Hooray. Duck?
Oh, don't you start duck with me.
What I'm
No,
working
no, no,
on
no.
is I'm about to
Oh, don't you do
grease
it.
up the Minotaur horns with liquid nails so that they will harden, and then I can sand them out and smooth them up.
So Micro Halloween says, has anyone watched Where Red Fern Grows? Once.
I think I read the book as a mandatory book reading.
Never again. Sparrow's Cave says, yes, he told us to watch Old Yeller.
Hey, listen, when I do mean stuff, you're not supposed to tell my wife.
Okay, you just send this to me. Show that to the screen. This way, this is the best.
So, and you need to explain why that's I'm on the big screen TV.
And the big screen TV.
I'm
that's
famous.
Our goddaughters
Yeah.
are tuning in to making. They have started making monsters, which makes us
Yes, makes us very happy.
ridiculously proud. Those are our goddaughters.
And remember, ask to watch Old Yeller. It's a feel-good family film
No,
that you'll really enjoy.
don't do it, girls. No. Okay, so let's see. Screeches, doggos, and cat faces. Yes, Kim, plenty. Horror Beauty says, one home haunt I went through, you had an actor following you. Then you had to go through a passage you had to find. You had to go through a bathroom cabin through a basement. It was creepy. Ezekiel says, Mamma Mia has to be the worst movie ever.
I believe you.
He says, yes, a good movie is also Tuck Everlasting. I'm sure that's probably, I don't think you'll ever get out to watch that.
Not without treachery. You could probably trick me into it. You know, you could spin the title Tuck Everlasting to sound like a horror movie. You know.
Deep Space Brazil. Hello, I do the same job here in Brazil. Always challenges. Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
What part of Brazil are you in?
Yeah, we've got Cujo is from Brazil.
Tudo bem.
Hey, Rob O'Brien.
So my plan was to knock this guy out and get his horns all greased up and ready for sanding. And then I'm probably going to go work on Cujo a little bit more, but I wanted it to, you know what, no, I'll mold those teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. Gross. And this is just liquid nails, construction adhesive, heavy duty. I like it. I use it to cover the horns. It adds some strength to them. And it allows me to sand them to a nice smooth finish. It fills in any seams. It's just good stuff.
Skin Bone says I just tuned in, been doing yard work all day, and I'm ready to watch you next.
Hooray. Again, I don't know if I'll be on super late tonight. Probably not, in all honesty, but I'm on some. I think that is enough of the liquid nails. So you don't need a thick coating, just a little bit adds a lot of strength. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I like Minotaurs.
Each day says, I'm getting better. I bought a digital table, ZBrush, and Photoshop.
Oh, very cool. I do Photoshop. I don't do a lot of I don't do any ZBrush. One day I might, but right now I still like getting dirty with clay. Our next endeavor is we're going to mold these teeth. These are the bottom teeth are on the bottom, and the top teeth are on the top. And they're going to fit on the Minotaur, and they'll wrap around that gum section. That's why I'm going to cast them in latex so they're flexible, and I can make them just wrap around. But now I've got to clean off another table. It's what I do. Well, just half of one, really, over here.
Okay.
Alexa, add pink foam to my shopping list.
You have 78 people watching.
You know what? While I'm here, I'm going to spray down the leech mask that we sculpted the other day. And when I say we, I mean that I was not involved.
Last one just says, hello all. Thanks for the suggestions on the horse, Alan. I have ordered a toxic one.
It's the best, man. If you haven't used that a lot, I think you're going to love it. So this is the leech mask that Chelsea started, and she's going to come by and finish it maybe tomorrow, so you might see more of her. I'm going to give it a mist down with water and then cover it back up and move it.
Alistair's Animatronics Workshop. Wish we could easily get pink foam here in Southern California. I had to use straps for a project today.
Yeah, well, you guys don't have a lot of reason to insulate. I wish that we didn't need pink foam here in Texas, but we do.
The leech mask is looking ferocious.
It is looking ferocious, and I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look especially leechy, but neither did the action figure, so I'm okay with that. It's kind of nice. I like it. I think we could do a lot of neat stuff with it.
Enigma says PTM is like 60 for 8 ounces. Do you think it's inflated and can it be made cheaper?
Oh, it absolutely can. Get Cabicil and get Prozaid. Cabicil and Prozaid, and that's the basis for PTM. Again, I've got it in my bucket right over there, but I haven't had a chance to do that video yet. And it won't be this week. This week I've got some pages I've got to do for YouTube Wednesday. And I'll probably start shooting that tomorrow because that's going to be a rather involved video. And then maybe I can do PTM as like an extra video during the week. Let's see. I'm still learning a new editing program.
Me too. Warmonger says, looking forward to seeing a finished pumpkin head mask.
Yeah, me too.
Hugo says, excellent teeth.
I will accept your, I'll say thank you for Chelsea, who did all the work on that. I merely advised.
Enigma says, can you put it on the website soon?
Well, I don't know that I'll sell it. I don't know that I'll be selling it. What I'm going to show you how to make it. If I do a video on it, because honestly, with the Prop 65 stuff, that is such a pain to sell anything that's going to touch someone's skin. It's a pain.
David Carter says, hi, I'm still here, saving up so I can buy some masks. Wife gives the okay.
Hooray! I have adopted Ezekiel's term of calling the wife the Minister of War and Finance. I think that is the best terminology for a wife I've ever heard.
I'll take that title.
Yeah.
I call myself the cook and laundry girl. But
Yeah, you're the cooking laundry
I
girl.
like yours better.
But you're not a come-a-running girl.
Hey, Jesse Papa Bear, he says, so Shannon being the queen of the castle, what or how do you change the food and dinners for doing Alan's keto? Has it affected your normal eating habits? Yes. First off, I love to grill and smoke, so I stock up on a lot of different meats, pork, turkey, chicken, steak, red steak tonight. And fortunately, he likes grilled, so I'll grill up some steaks, some veg, like some mushrooms or zucchini and squash, really good. And or I'll roast some vegetables of some kind. He likes cheese, so we might put some cheese on there. I also got him some sugar-free barbecue sauce and sugar-free ketchup. And before you wail, it's really good.
They're tasty.
Yeah, it gives him a bit of a flavor of a sauce, the vinegar and the sweetness that you're missing from a steak sauce. And so that kind of takes the edge off. And the challenge is something sweet, because the man's got a sweet tooth. But that's what I do around here and it helps out. He drops weight so fast, it's ridiculous.
I have something exciting to share with them.
Okay, do it.
See the bottom of these Vaseline tubs?
So gross!
The shop has new Vaseline, and I went and I got cocoa butter again because I just liked the smell of it.
Well, thank Rob for that.
Yeah.
Rachel says, Max always said he wants to run for president. They needed me to run as his vice president so I could pardon him from his war crimes.
Hooray! If you go into your presidency planning war crimes, I have a lot more respect for you. I'm just going to say that.
All right, John, see, there's just not a lot of leftovers. The only leftovers, he eats those too.
It's like, listen, I'm about to be president, yes. But in order to fix things, I got to do some stuff, okay?
Finn Godwolf says hello.
Hello, Finn Godwolf.
Ezekiel says, the Swedish princess minister for war and finance, punching above my weight. I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too.
Ooh, Vaseline.
Yeah, new Vaseline. Isn't that exciting? I'm old. Smells like cocoa buttery goodness.
G. Hughes sugar-free sauce, warmonger. That's exactly what he's having. That's it. Yeah, that stuff's amazing, and it takes that craving off, so he doesn't feel deprived, and yeah, that stuff's great.
Yeah, because the bad part about keto is no sauce or anything on your meats, and I think food should swim. Food should swim. So.
Here. Yeah, warmonger, it's really good. Let's see. guys are trying to keto, they do a steak sauce, they do several barbecue sauces, and they do a ketchup. And that just really has made a huge difference for him. Bless you.
Gesundheit. That was Boris who sneezed.
Warmonger says, I can't tell the difference between that and the normal sauce.
Yeah, it's tough. This is a 25-pound block of wet clay, and I'm just going to use this wet clay in order to, I'm using the wet clay to build walls around this sculpt so that I can make an easy mold.
Alan, have you ever done refractory molds?
No, I don't believe so. Unless it's a different terminology than I have used, in which case I wouldn't know if I had or not. The term sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Refractory concrete like kilns.
No, I have not. I haven't done any kiln work really.
David Carter would have bought the mask by now, but the wife lost her job during COVID, so saving slow won't get there. No problem, David.
You know what? Odds are good. If it's 12 years from now, I'll still be making masks.
You'll still have the molds.
That's kind of what I do, yeah. And luckily, the molds are stone, so they tend to hang around a while too. Don't worry. I could cut these mold walls thinner, but why risk it? Let's just throw this down and you know, do it once, not worry about it. So I'm, you know, using the softness of the clay to pinch it and pull it and push it down against the table to make a seal down here against the table. So I'm going to fill this up to the brim with plaster.
Why do you prepare water-based clay?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm making a box to build a mold in. And you know, maybe if I get closer, you guys will see this a little better. Hold on, Boris is eating Cujo. Boris,
Oh.
that's my blanket, and I need that to make Cujo. I don't know how much more hair I have to use, but I need that blanket. I'm gonna take this back now, okay?
Do you have something to give him in return? No.
Yes, I do. Boris, you can have this. This is what you can have. Okay? That was the lining. That's an artificial chamois. You'll love it. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It's better than cats. The musical, not the animal. Okay.
Oh, these dogs.
All right, so you'll see the teeth are in here, and I have at least like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch from any point. I want plenty of plaster in here. And
Hello, Anonymous Bat. It's a great name.
anonymous bat.
Great name. I love that name.
I like it. I am
Yes.
the anonymous bat.
Fun.
Don't mind me, I am anonymous. Okay. It would be a waste of plaster and make the mold heavier than it needs to be if I went all the way off the end of that, so. Let's put this clay back in the bag. Well, if you could tell by Boris's expression that he knew he was busted. Like he knew I did not give that to him.
Hi, Shannon and Alan. Thanks for giving me the green light for the video. I posted to the creepers page about the dragons I made. Thanks, Rocky and UK.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What is your favorite haunt theme that you've been a part of?
You know what? I'm going to easily say the black and white themed haunted house that we did. It was all classic monsters. All the sets were black and white. All the costumes were black and white, like you were in a black and white movie. And there was a charm and a
Nostalgia.
class to it that I really enjoyed. And it was just such a sharp contrast to everything around us at the time that I felt was kind of rednecks and clowns and that kind of stuff. And it was just a wonderful departure from that end of haunting. And I enjoyed it.
It was lovely.
Yeah, it was a love letter to classic horror. Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, Gilman, which are themes that obviously I'm a fan of. And for this, we're going to use the last of the pottery plaster. Maybe not the last. We're going to use some of the pottery plaster. So let me get a bolio. Hey, wife, why don't you tell them a story?
Oh. Hey, Jesse York says, that's so cool. I love haunts that do something completely different than what everyone else does.
Well, we do that. Go tell a story, wife.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay, so when you try to, hi babe, when you try to explain to your parents what it is that your new boyfriend does, saying that, you met him in a haunted house and, all that's great, but then, okay, but what does he do for a living? This is what he does for a living. And trying to explain to your parents what your new boyfriend does comes with challenges. I should write a book because I have very old-fashioned parents who were, of course, looking for a young man to be of some sort of stable job to take care of their daughter. Well, the first time my parents met Alan, we were out at the Renaissance Festival, Scarborough Renaissance Festival in Waxahachie, Texas. And Alan was playing a character. He joined the cast, and he was playing a character that was basically a hunchback. And he was hunched over, he was hooded, had terrible teeth, he'd blackened his teeth. He looked rough, and he was
Alfred
hilarious.
the Henchman.
Alfred the Henchman. He was very funny, but just vile looking. And of course, as soon as I introduced him to my mother, he just started chasing her and terrifying my mother. And my mother did not. This is the young man you're dating, and I'm like, yeah, he's great, but he doesn't really look like that. And my mother couldn't see past the teeth. So she was trying to say, I don't think a Renaissance festival has a dental plan. I said, Mom, there's no insurance here. And so she was horrified. So when the festival was over and we were all going to go to dinner and meet the parents time, he had to do some cleaning up so that she could see that wasn't his real teeth. She thought this was what he really looked like. So he showed up looking immaculate and polished and very handsome, all the things you want your daughter to have. But she didn't quite know what he did for a living, and I hadn't really told her that yet. So
which is similar to how when you and I met, I was in full costume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we talked over the internet before we met each other.
Right.
Face to face.
The difference is that when she first met you, she thought you were, horrifying, and I thought you were sexy.
Yeah.
So, it worked for me, but it sure didn't work for your mother. So, anyway, that's a story for another time. He's back. So there you go. Okay. Hello, Rodney Pope. Thanks for running. It's a shame the haunted houses no longer use the classic theme of the classic car. Now everything is chainsaws and the like.
Yeah, it can be. It's not all, but a lot of it is. Thanks, wife.
Grab some water.
Oh, okay. I got water in the fridge here. Sounds like we're having a package delivered. Yeah, poor mothers and fathers. Okay, so I have a bowl here that I put the plaster in. Alexa, count down 1 minute. Okay, so now 1 minute from now, I should have plaster that I can mix. I'll need some gloves. And I saw Horror Beauty give a recipe for PTM. The only thing that I would add to that is I normally get a cake foundation, like a foundation powder, and I crush that up and add it to make it closer to skin tone. A lot of people put acrylic paint in it for skin tone, for color, but I prefer something that's already FDA approved and you know what's in it. So I use the powder cake and a little bit of red flocking, and that does a good job of skin tone. I didn't mean to butt in there, but I saw that pop up in the feed. And it's just some people do it differently as far as the coloring goes. And some prefer to just color it after. Alexa, stop.
Passato for a graphic novel.
Yeah, graphic
My
novel.
book of my stories. Oh Lord, help, guys.
No one wants that.
Have let's see, did you read George Muncie? I remember watching a news clip from a haunt here in Kansas City. It was a butcher shop, and the character terrified me as a child. That actor gave me his character. That's now one of my best friends.
That's awesome.
Let's see. 1980 says, my wife once had a best friend that told her he wanted to become a priest while they were talking.
Best friend or a boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
Aha. Yeah, that would make it weird. So, hello, short-term girl I'm dating.
Yeah. Warmonger says Shannon's book title should be Tales of a Monster, the Alan Thompson story.
Oh, see, I want one that people would be interested in.
Chad says scales are fun, but the trenching is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Jamie Thaxton says my coworker loves the whiplash mask.
Oh, good, good, awesome. All right, I feel well mixed. I don't feel any lumps in there. Very important. This is a lot of tiny detail. I'm using pottery plaster because A, I have it on hand, and B, I don't think I'll be pulling a lot of these teeth.
Have you ever tried to make a horror mask using your dog's fur? Become a terrifying dog mask, a dog man mask with bone hanging out of his mouth.
That's kind of gross. I probably wouldn't do that. I mean, no, I put wool, real wool, on the Wolfman. I assume it's washed before it gets to me. I don't know for sure. Was there a package delivered?
2 packages.
Oh. Anything for me?
Celestial Kitty says, I would buy her book and probably dog ear to death. Dave Ray says, I thought gross was the whole idea of horror masks.
Not that kind of gross.
John
You want a
C.
gross that's safe and repeatable.
John C. says, Wolfman. Jordan Muncie, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but a lot of my zombies have bloody holes in his face, and that's because of him. The haunt community is an incredible thing to be a part of.
It really is.
Jesse York says, I think I'd die if I wore a dog fur mask. I'm allergic.
Yeah, see, that's part of it.
Warmonger wants to see Boris wearing the Cujo mask.
Well, the Cujo is actually already foam filled, so it'd be very hard to wear.
Cute idea, Warmonger. I like dressing up the dogs, and Alan doesn't like me to do it. And I see what you can see very well. There you go. There you go.
Be a shame to waste all this new light.
I couldn't see what you were doing. There are places that make hats and gloves if you send your dog's fur.
Yeah, I think that's weird.
Our dog's fur ends up, we put it out and the birds take it and make birds' nests out of it, which is really good during the winter because it keeps all the birds warm. But we have like fluffy bird nests. What is the rectangle of clay for?
So this is, if I poured the plaster on without the rectangle of clay, then it would just go everywhere. So I made a well containment unit to hold this plaster. And I'm just agitating the plaster so that any bubbles inside of it are going to feel free to come up to the surface. And I have to remember where those tusks are so I don't hit those. Okay. This is going to be our mold. And I have this much plaster left over because I didn't measure a thing.
You have wasted clay. This is wasted clay.
I've wasted plaster, not clay. This was used. This is dying.
He says, after seeing the price of fur, I look at those old faux fur coats like Cadillac. I how long for the plaster to dry?
This plaster actually takes about half an hour to be pretty much cured. It's very fast. This is U.S. #1 pottery plaster. It is the fastest of all the plasters that I use. Except for almost expired Ultra Cal 30, which I also use sometimes.
What is everyone having for dinner?
I think I'm having steak.
You are having steak. What is the quickest time you ever made a mask?
45 minutes. That is sculpted, molded, poured, and pulled in silicone. Not impossible, but also not fun.
Ezekiel says he's having cheese and Vegemite toast. It's breakfast time.
Okay.
What's the longest time on one mask?
Well, like straight sculpting time, probably not that long. Maybe 25 hours.
Mike Canady says my wife attempted goulash, so I had a mistake.
I see. So I just sculpted a little skull here real quick, so that I had, I'll make a mold of something with this plaster. I didn't want it to go to waste.
Ben says, I wish I was able to work as quickly on projects as Alan.
See a little
Make
skull?
a quick skull door knocker.
It's just, well, it could be a door knocker. Yes, I'm making a skull door knocker. Someone asks if you are God, you say yes. Someone asks if that's a door knocker, you say yes. Now, do I know what I'm going to use this little skull mold for? No, but I got one. Might maybe costume pieces for like a witch doctor or something. Who knows? But you can always use a little skull mold. And I did not put any release on this table, so this might be a trick getting it off the table. Or this table has had enough release on it over the year or so that I've had it on here that it might release just fine. We'll never know. But we will know eventually.
John C. says, in high school I did a painting for art class finals the morning before taking the bus to school. I had 3 weeks to do it.
I've done some of that.
David Lorraine says, where I'm from, the skull is a symbol of death and time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of that symbol everywhere.
Keto says, very cool skull. I wish I had over 10% of Alan's talent. Jordan says, who inspired your style of sculpting and why? Jordan Budsey.
Boy, you know what? I'm probably going to take it back to. I love Frank Frazetta, and I like a lot of the monsters he did. I love Harryhausen films, and I love the monsters that he did. And Masters of the Universe was big. You know, I think that the big brow and stuff that I do, because I have a style, I think a lot of that is straight from Masters of the Universe. You know, and then as I developed, you know, then some movies come along, and those are inspiration for a bit. Alexa, countdown, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
I can put more plaster on this, but only after it gets thicker. It'll just run off of the sculpture right now.
Belt ornaments for blue sorcerers and skull with skull faces.
Yeah.
Is there any plaster left?
There is, but I'm about to use it. I have to let it get thicker first. Okay.
Bunsey says, I see a lot of distortions in your work, and I love it.
I could say that distortions, and you know what? Be Something Studios, which is now Zagone Studios. Be Something Studios was a big influence. I love their Wolfman mask and some of their early masks.
It looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. I like him.
Waiting on this to thicken up.
1980 says, when the plaster stops being shiny, it's usually thick.
Yeah, you can look at the surface of it and read it as a matte, or read it as a, or you know, get the shine off of it. But sometimes if it's completely matte, it's too late. So I just kind of poke it. Alexa, stop. Thicker. Thicker. I could use some of this.
Says, I can roll with roll.
Yeah, I'm a poker.
You are 10 minutes after 6. 78 people are watching.
Well, currently they're watching rocks get hard. So, yeah. It's probably a better shot. So yeah, so this is the teeth mold. Water-based clay is in there, and then I built a wall around it with clay, and then I filled that with plaster. I agitated the plaster to make sure no air bubbles were trapped, and I had some plaster left over, so I sculpted a little skull real quick. And I'm just molding that just so I don't waste plaster. Now this is the cheapest of the plaster that I use, so it's not like it's a big waste, but just wasn't sure of how much I was going to mix up to fill that void, and the answer was too much. Cobwebs and Candlesticks did a video recently about pouring up and finishing some resin padlocks that he made. And Cobwebs brought up a very good point when he was pouring, to have another mold off to the side, another silicone mold, so that if you mix up too much resin, you have something to pour it into. And that's something that we do here. It just makes sense. There's never a point in letting a material rot inside the bucket. That's why, even though this was maybe $3 or $4 worth of plaster, I went ahead and I did a little sculpt.
RB says, always have another mold ready.
Yeah, yeah. Have another mold ready to go. In this case, I needed another sculpt ready to go, but same concept.
Ezekiel, which captures detail better, pottery one or ultra cal?
Ultracal. Well, okay, so technically they both capture detail the same. However, the Ultracal is going to hold on to it longer because the US #1 pottery plaster, it's just going to erode rather quickly. Pottery plaster takes about a total of 15 to 24 minutes to get non-workable. That's your working time. So this is one that I will always kind of babysit the whole time it's kicking.
Susan Atai says, watching rocks get hard is still better than anything on cable.
Hooray!
1987 did the same thing at the concrete business I worked at. We made K-rail molds on standby and got a lot of extra concrete on the truck.
Very cool. Yeah, same concept, you know. You don't want to waste that material. And now I pretty much have all the usable stuff out of that bucket. And I have enough to make my mold here, so I'm going to work on flattening out the top. So it's going to be easy to pour up. And I'll start shaping the sides. I'll give it another minute here before I really start forming this guy. Because this one, again, I made without... See how I'm having to babysit this? People ask why I made this clay wall. I didn't have to babysit this one. I just poured it in there. I can pour it and forget it. Whereas this, I kind of have to work with it every step of the process. Which is fun. It's just kind of a little bonus mold.
Do you always make a master for remolding of your stuff?
No. I don't always make a master, and I normally don't make a master on the first pull or second pull. It's normally the third or fourth pull that I make a master. And I know that based upon how quickly I sold the first 3 or 4, whether or not I'm going to need to. Because an Ultracal mold is going to be good for about 20 pulls, and then you're going to have some problems with it. I had the Piggin mask. I was on my 5th mold for it, and it was just too tired. So I actually stopped producing that one and let that mold die. And then Al Driver sculpted War Piggin, which was very similar. But I don't always make one. If I only want 1 or 2 copies for myself, or if I need it for dark hour, there's no point in making a master. But then if it's one that I'm selling and it's selling well, then a master is a good idea. But I don't necessarily want to hold on to a mold for 15 years. The stuff that I sculpted 15 years ago, I think is atrocious compared to how I sculpt now. So why wouldn't I want the chance to revisit that and do it again correctly?
Plan on making a master of the werewolf foot.
No. No, I don't think that'll be an item that I sell a lot of.
Do you sell your old molds?
I have sold the old molds in the past, but normally people don't want to rock. normally, if you know how to make molds, you know how to sculpt, then you'd rather make your own than pour someone else's.
Or Beauty says, I want to rock.
I want to rock. Okay, so you can see I'm able to get this mold pretty squared off just by shaping it while it's curing. You can tell it's kind of going chalky on me now. It has a different consistency than it did before. And I'm scraping a little bit of plaster off the top in order to deposit it on these corners.
1980 says, if you get tired of the Masters of the Universe molds, I'd take them.
I appreciate that.
Robert Cooper says, signed gold. Got candy corn, not chocolate, I got a rock.
Got chocolate what?
I got a rock.
Oh, I got a rock.
The stuff you made in your early videos is just as awesome as your current ones, in my opinion.
Well, I appreciate that. And I put a degree of value on your opinion. I may not have the same one. Now I'm in a rock and I want to touch it. Now I'm in a rock and I want to touch it.
Have you ever used Durham's water putty? It's good stuff.
I haven't. Is that a like a putty? Isn't that like a plumber's putty? Is that right? Do I remember that correctly? I think I have. I think I sculpted a face with it on a mannequin. Is it?
It's powder mix.
Yeah, it's for plumbers though, right? Is that what it's meant for?
Used for plumbing.
Yeah, okay. There are so many materials out there. You might be a master in using a certain material because that's what you had on hand or that's what you learned on, and then you get really good at it, and then, you know, come to find out you're the only one who uses it for that.
Chad says, wow, when working with you live in the background, everything else just fades away, even the live. What are you molding?
These are the teeth that I sculpted for the Minotaur. So I'm molding these in one single block mold. So I can pour up bottom teeth and top teeth at the same time. And this is US #1 pottery plaster. And because I mixed up too much, I quickly sculpted a little water-based clay skull. And that skull was molded right inside of here. And now I'm gonna go touch those horns and see how close to dry they are. We had some rain this morning, like a good bit of rain. And I'm concerned that things aren't gonna dry near as much. Near as fast as they should. This has a good skin on it, but it's not dry yet. Okay. I've almost accomplished all the things I set out to accomplish when I started this.
Is the green rabid dog still, excuse me, still in the Monster Museum?
That green rabbit dog, I believe you refer to the Cujo, which is an exhibit that I made for my Monster Museum. And the Cujo is still there, yes. What's funny is sometimes I buy things from other people, or I'll buy like resin things and repaint them or whatever, and they always end up breaking, but the stuff that I make out of garbage like stays around and passes the test of time. It's very weird.
Do you have water buffalo in the USA?
I think we only have captive water buffalo in the USA. I don't think that we have any wild water buffalo.
Is that paint on horns or plaster?
On the horns is actually liquid nails straight out of a caulking gun. That's going to give a good hard coating that I can sand smooth and then paint and stain those horns. And I think that's it for the evening, guys. That's what I wanted to knock out. We got the teeth molded, I started that teeth sculpture earlier today, so I got the teeth sculpted and molded. I got some hair on the face of Cujo. It is not painted or styled yet, but let's take a look at that. And I also went right over his eyes. So I'll be cutting those out and shaping, and I have to attach this together. But I needed to get more muzzle between the nose and where the teeth started. And there's his teeth right there. But you barely see Cujo's top teeth. It's the bottom teeth that kind of steal the show. So more of this hair will happen right here, leaving two big wattles. And then a longer hair goes over the back. And this short hair again goes up here, and then it all gets painted in. The eyes get cut, tucked under, and glued. And then he gets bloody and gory and nasty. It's going to be wonderful, in my opinion. Okay, so that's that. So, wife, it's an early good night, but say good night.
Good night. I gotta go make steak.
Yeah, she better go make some steak. And you guys, go make stuff.